you. Welcome back. I just found out the whole time that I was trying to get everything in, trying to talk to you before, that it was on silent. So today, what we're going to be doing, this is Michael Holmes with Renewing Excellence and Advancing Leadership, where we are purpose pursuers. And Real University just helps you to be the real you by doing what? We help you to understand there are two things that everybody's looking for: current and future lifestyle, and then what to do about those things, how to overcome the hidden obstacles, and how to apply the top 3 solutions that are going to get you over those obstacles. So real is just simply renewing excellence and advancing leadership, right? So we are going to dive into the situations that are separating what we think is happening as a community and what is actually happening as community when it comes to our dollars, our finances, and how we are applying those things. Okay, so what we want to do is I want to share a couple of things with you so that you can see, number one, where we're coming from. Okay, and what I'm coming from today is a tab from the Black Enterprise. Okay, and it's called African American Economics. So I want you to see what I had saw earlier. Okay, now what I want to make sure that everybody can see. Now, what this is, we are always on the lookout, okay, for ways to helping individuals. And the reason why we come from this area is because I understand, and I come from, the arena of my grandparents, my parents, and the understanding of what we had, and what was taught to us. Okay, because coming up through my household, we always saw the excellence. My aunt Pearl, she was always around and helping out to help people get into the voting, and she was a member and also officer of NAACP. She always championed us to make sure that we get to college and get that next level of understanding, the next level of teaching. Okay, and so when that happened, I started to understand what I needed to do. Okay, and so I took from that understanding of I had to get to school, and that was a great thing. I went to the secondary college. I went to Georgia Tech, and what I studied was electrical engineering. And see, even that I studied at that point in time is no longer viable. It's no longer something that I can work in. Not that it's not electrical engineering, but the times have changed so much since then. Because you think when I was coming out of college, this was a 95 or so. Okay, so a lot of things have changed from then. So the biggest thing that didn't change, or the best thing that didn't change, was money. Okay, the finances. So no matter what the purpose is, no matter what the passion is, no matter if you're going into secondary education, no matter if you're going for the PhD, master's, no matter if it's just high school, and not say just high school, but no matter if it's high school or diploma or whatever that is, it's the understanding of now what to do with my finances. Because it's not always, it's probably 20% of what you get, but it's more about 80% of what you do with what you get. How do you apply the money that you receive, right? Do you help yourself by eliminating the high expenses, by removing and starting paying down debt? Are you outpacing inflation? Are your investments, are they doing performing as they should? Are you taking this information in from somebody else? Okay, so what you want to do is you have an opportunity to be informed. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do today, is just jump into what we saw here. All right, here we go. Now, just to read a couple of places here, but if you see at the top, it is from the Black Enterprise website. Okay, and this was back in March 2019, so just last year. Okay, so what you want to see is the biggest thing is just that it reads: Black families are more confident about achieving the American dream than the general population. Okay, now if that's the case, now that is the case rather, because that was done from a poll, right? And so that means that there is an undertaking, that is an awareness that is coming and saying, hey, if we don't take care of our economy, if I don't take care of my economy, then therefore I will be subject to the things that are going on. But if I can take and grasp a hold of what happens with my financial education and able to then be informed, right? And so if you're then, you know what to do with the money that comes in. You say, hey, I need to make sure that I am eliminating the debt as much as possible. I'm eliminating and reducing expenses, right? I'm outpacing inflation. Okay. I have adequate investments that are outpacing inflation. Okay. And so I know that the money that I have is performing. I'm going through and I'm building assets in some form of fashion that's going to help me for my future lifestyle. Okay. And so that's what we're looking at here. Now, it also speaks, excuse me, that's going really fast there. It also speaks of some 84% believe that the American dream means financial security, 78% in not living paycheck to paycheck. And also 77% means there are, or was stated that they said that that also means to owning a home. Okay. So that simply means that over three-fourths of Americans, okay, believe that the American dream revolves around financial security. And if that's the case, okay, since that is the case, then what is providing the financial security, right? Are we hoping in Social Security? Are we hoping in pensions that are coming from, the job or that may or may not be there? And we already know, if you have been paying attention, that Social Security is definitely not something that is going to be steady there. It's not going to be steady. Okay, it's already said that maybe three-quarters of it will be there. Okay. And this is what I want to highlight right away before we get into the understanding of how to start down the financial road of understanding. Okay. The study revealed a disconnect between African Americans' financial situations and their hope toward the future. The report disclosed some pitfalls tied to African Americans' personal finances, including high debt, low savings, and a lower likelihood of wide financial product ownership, which means less than adequate investments. Okay. In turn, the financial disparities, or the gap, the wealth gap, possibly explain why 31% surveyed are convinced the American dream may be fading away. Okay, so that's simply the understanding is, if I can grab hold of what my finances are and what to do with them. Okay, not just how to create more income, not just how to get out there and do another job. Think about it. We've all seen our parents, grandparents, or whomever in our lives have always done, hard work. That's not the key. Okay, the key is hard work plus. Okay, the key is have the information and the understanding of what capitalism really is, what's really going on in the country with what we're having to participate with. Okay, so now what I want to do, let's get back out of here. Okay, now our goal is to make sure that you get into a place that you have an understanding of how to overcome the top four lifestyle drainers, right? You're out there, you're doing the hard work, you're putting in the hours, right? And at the end of the day, why is it that there's still not quite enough to do what you want? We even get to a place, if you're anything like me, where I was coming through, I got to a place, right? I'm 48 now, but around the 38, 40 years old, when I first experienced what happened with the market and the economy, I started to settle. I started to say, hey, I don't need this. I know this was my dream, but I'm not going to, no problem. I can settle with this. I don't need all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's in a case, it may not be your case, but it feels like a letdown, to say, hey, as a child or a teenager, or coming as a young adult, to have a dream, I want to participate in that thing that they call the American dream of financial security, financial stability, and moreover, wealth creation. Okay. And see, when you're able to be disenfranchised, okay, by the economy that's going around you, without looking at your economy, how can you help your economy? And the first thing we want to do is, I want to help you to get a personalized cash flow plan. Right. And see, when you obtain a PCP, then your you now have a financial blueprint. You have a financial GPS that's going to get you from one place to the other. You see, there's always going to be ups and downs of life. When you start and you're going to finish, it's not just going to be a straight line. Right? You set a designation that you want to get to a certain end goal. So once you get there, it's going to be ups and downs, ups and downs. But when you have the GPS, then you understand that, hey, I have a guiding system that is telling me to go left, right, right? It's telling me to go up, down. So even though life is doing like this, I can still follow the directions of my financial GPS. Okay. And that is your personalized cash flow plan. Because the biggest thing is to realize that income is not all that it's cracked up to be if you do not have the proper education, right? The proper financial education to do what you need to do with it. How many times have we seen people win the lottery or gain lots of money and only to end up with nothing? Sometimes even have been end up dead, right? Because when you don't have, or what does it say, a fool and his money will soon be parted, right? And so it's not to say anybody, nowhere, nowhere, no how am I saying that there's a fool or who's a fool, but that's simply saying that when you're not prepared, because a fool is what it says, an ignorant person, and ignorance means that you just don't know, right? So when you don't know and you're not ready for a thing, you don't understand the purpose of a thing, then the abuse of that thing is inevitable. So when you have large sums of money and you don't understand the categories, you don't understand the context, you don't understand, hey, how does that work? How does my return work? Okay. And then you talk to somebody because you got a lot of money because they want a portion of that money, right? Then you talk to the individual and they say, put it here, put it there, right? And what happens when it tanks? They still got paid. Okay. So you have to understand what to do with your own money, right? And that's the biggest thing that we want to get to an understanding. So we want to make sure that we have the things necessary to overcome obstacles in our life. Okay. I'm going to share this with you right quick and we'll be in and out of here. All right. All right. So when we're looking at it, right? So the goal is to remember they said there was a wide gap, right, between the individuals that were thinking that, hey, the American dream, it was 80% of America was thinking, hey, American dream is connected to personal financial success. Okay. But at the same time, it didn't say it was equated to the job or the business. Okay. The job or the business is the seed. The seed then produces the cash. The cash then is needed to be used to create an asset so that that asset now are in different places creating for you more cash so that if at any point in time you're not able to work as in labor, then you have assets that can take your place. Okay. So let's look at that. Well, everybody is looking to work on two objectives, no matter what that is, no matter who you are. You get up every day in the morning, you fight traffic, no matter what you're doing, you're trying to exchange your labor. You're trying to get there to exchange what's your hard time that you have earned, that you have been given, rather. You have trading that time for the labor because they're giving you dollars for that. Okay. But at some point in time, there's going to be a time where you don't want to work or you can't work or because they've moved or it's moved away, the job itself is gone. Okay, so what do you do at that point in time? Most people simply go look for others, but then the informed, they rely on their cash flow. Okay, and we'll talk about that some more. Now, your future lifestyle is the second thing. We want our current lifestyle, right? That is the shelter. That is the clothing. That is the thing that makes it the best life for us, okay? We want that to be comfortable. Am I right? Okay. So also, while we're doing that, if it's hard to go, like it says, 70% of people are going from check to check, right? And if that's the case, how can you put away enough money for your future lifestyle? Okay, so those two objectives are not being taken care of because that future lifestyle has to come from your investments, right? And what happens now because of those things in place, if they are in place, then your current and future lifestyle flows well. But if it's not, then there's a lot of bumping heads, right? So now what was in place to help us with those things? Social Security. That was going to be there, right, to help us with the future lifestyle. But Social Security itself is saying that, hey, even if it is there, Social Security has said that about three-fourths of it will only be available for you to pull on. Okay, what happened to that money? Okay, then what we want to do, we want to look at the pensions. There's still a few places out that give away pensions, but if it was hard to live on 100% of what you were making, to to make sure that you had a current and a future lifestyle, then how can you live on 40%, which are most pensions, about 40% of what you were making? Okay, so you got to have something to make sure those two things are working at the same time, right? So in order to do that, though, what they would say, hey, go get you another job, go sell some things, okay, go get get a second degree that you really don't really want, right? It's different if that was your purpose and that second degree helped you to facilitate your purpose. Okay, but now what we got to do is we got to see, okay, what's going on with the money when we get it in. Okay, excuse me, that's the biggest concern. You want to see what is really going on with the money that I'm getting in first. Remember, it's what to do with the money, not actually the amount of money. Okay, so let's look at it. You have inflation. That's the first thing we're going to look at. Inflation is the silent income killer because really you're not even aware of what's happening with that, with the cost of goods and services that are rising. Okay, what we do is we just simply go make more money to do what? Go combat the inflation or the rise in cost of goods. And if you're unfamiliar with inflation, it just means that if the farmer had a bad day, right? Or bad crop, rather, not a bad day, forgive me. But if a farmer had a bad crop, so to say, or bad experience with the crop that year, okay, then what would end up happening is if there were more expenses, the farmer has to pass that on to the middle person that is picking up the produce or whatever it may be. And then that person that picks it up passes it on to the warehouse. And then the warehouse passes it on to the grocer. The grocer then passes that extra expense on to you, the end consumer. Okay, and that is why inflation is something that is a silent killer. It is going up, 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 up about 4 to 6% every couple of years. Okay, if your savings, okay, if your investments, okay, if your job is not rising above inflation, then you understand you're going backwards. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to cover. The next thing is taxes, income taxes, guys. I mean, you got ad valorem tax, you got food taxes, you got restaurant taxes, right? But what we're talking about is something that we can't control, which is income tax. But right now, when you don't know, you don't think you can control that. So it's hitting you for 30%. Imagine every time you try to make a budget and you tried to make a budget, but somebody took away 30% of the budget that you are working on, how could you make it? You would have to go check to check, wouldn't you? So that's what's happening right now. Every time you're budgeting, you've actually filled out applications for the apartment, the home, or whatever it may be. They're going on your gross income, but you're only bringing in your net income. Okay, and if that's the case, your budget is off by 30% every time, which means that you're working from January, February, March, and April without that coming to you. That is strictly for Uncle Sam, for taxes. So they take the first one-third of your income, just like that. And guess what? Because of that, you got to go into debt. Majority of individuals go into debt. And when you go into debt, there is a penalty called interest. So it'd be different if you borrowed 20 and could pay back 20 over that 5 years, but you borrow 20, you pay back 30, okay, or maybe more, right? Because just think of it as a house. When you borrow $100,000 on a home and you have a 30-year mortgage, you're generally going to pay it back about 2.5 times. That's $250,000 that you're paying back for a $100,000 house if you pay it over 30 years. See what I'm saying? So now the debt zaps you for another 1/3 of your income. So now that's why, we feel trapped. We haven't even gone to try to get a second job yet. You see what happens if you try to go get another job? You see what happens? It just zaps it, because what you're doing is you're taking a second job or the more income and you put it into a hole, or a vase with several holes in it. Okay. So now this is what's happening with the 1/3. We're in the debt, right? So now the other thing that zaps us is big business, or less than adequate savings, because now the big business won't allow you to save. Why? Because it makes everything that you want feel like needs, and they're just simply something that you could have. Let me explain what I mean by this. Big business is always advertising, commercialism, those types of things, right? So you have the month of October, where you have the Halloween, you spend money there. November, of course, Thanksgiving and the other two holidays, quote unquote, that you can spend money. Okay. Then you have December. And of course, there's going to be more money spent there, right? Advertising. Are you pushing? Okay. Get them, get them, get them. Then you got January. Hey, change who you are. You didn't want to be that. Hey, this is the time. Get this to help you do that, right? So it's time to change. February, now you've changed. You feel like you've changed, or maybe you got a significant other, right? No matter what happened, you want to get that significant other something. So that's in February for Valentine's Day. Then you have your March. It's springtime, right? Spring cleaning. Time to get in, get out. It's freshness, right? Get the different clothing and everything like that. Then you have April. Okay. And then your April, you got coming in. That's just your Easter. And then everybody wants to do the new suits and those types of things, right? Then you have May, Mother's Day, June, Father's Day, July, Independence Day. But what are you free from? It's not financial freedom, right? Because you're spending that most of us didn't have. That's what the statistics said. Okay. And then you go from month to month to month, and then you just end up doing things that you really don't think about. I'm not talking about anniversaries, birthdays, or anything like that. Okay. So now, after all of those challenges have been identified, now you can do what? You can say, okay, now I have something outpacing inflation in my investments. Now I have an asset as well that is helping me to create more cash. Okay, that's helping me to overcome inflation. Now I can actually do something about taxes. I can reduce those. I can reduce the debt. I can reduce the effect of big business in my life, which increases your cash flow. Every time you take care of either one of the challenges, all of them, after working with us, you will increase your cash flow. Not selling another pill, potion, lotion, wrap, or a tea. Okay, you're going to increase your cash flow by taking care of the money, by having the right type of financial education. And nothing can take that away from you, nor can it be taken away from you as you pass it along to your children and their children. Okay, so that's what we want to make sure that you have that. In order to do that, you have to understand the solutions, the top three wealth solutions and strategies that will help you. The first is to understand your cash flow, right? I've said it a couple of times now: cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Cash flow is just simply how the income that's coming in is made to stretch. Okay. So let's imagine if I have $1 million of income coming in. Okay. Hey, I'm a millionaire, 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 but I got $2 million worth of expenses going out. That means that every time I get paid, by the first time that I don't get paid, really I'm in the poorhouse because I have no cash flow, right? But if I'm making $40,000 a year and I'm only living on 20,000, and I'm doing the other things necessary with the other 20, okay, then the cash asset cash produces, and I have the cash flow or the time frame to actually live. Okay, so when that 40 comes in, and if it stops, I have that 40 already came in, so I can pay for the first year and the second year, right? So that's the way you want to have your cash flow. But right now, what's hindering you from getting able to take advantage of that is the way that you're being taxed. Remember, we said that they're taking 1/3 of your income as soon as Uncle Sam comes in because they feel like you don't know what to do with it. So to make sure you pay your taxes, we're going to take 30% because you're not sure, how to pay your taxes the right way. You may under, you may over. So we're just going to take that from you. Okay. So what's happening is you're working, putting all your hard effort into it. You're taxed, and then you spend what's left over. Okay. You are only able to use that's what's remaining. Remember, you have your taxes, taken. Your debt comes in, taken. Big business, give it, take it, right? So now the thing that's left over is not enough to take care of both the current and future lifestyle. So what we have to do, continue to minimize your taxes. How do we do that? Why is that so important? It's so important because now that's your money, right? That's your money. So you minimize the taxes. You're now able to use the money from minimizing the taxes by adjusting a small form called a W-4. Some people do it already and they're, adjusting it at 612 and this, that, and the other, and then come back 6 months later and pull it back down. That's not correct. You're going to get audited and you're going to get in, possible serious trouble for that. Okay. Not serious trouble, but serious trouble is in paying fines and fees and things like that. Okay. So you don't want to even get there. Okay. So now you want to minimize your taxes by adjusting your W-4 by saying that, hey, I'm able to use my money now. Okay. You want to minimize your debt and your expenses. Okay. When you're doing those things, remember that's what increases your cash flow. You want your cash flow to be increased. So before you step into your business, before you step into, that calling, before you step into and getting that idea together, get the basics taken care of, reduce your taxes, debt, and stop with the overexpending with the consumer advertising. Okay, it's not saying that do that, but get it into the right framework first, right? There's money set aside for those things now, right? So what we want to do is we want to see in 6 weeks, right? Because the thing that we were looking at is the 369. You see that at the bottom there. 3 days, cash flow management. We're going to show you how to implement, minimize your taxes, minimize your debt, minimize your expenses. 6 weeks or less, we're going to show you how to create some business income. So then you can take advantage of your writing off your lifestyle. Things that you're already paying for, like your cell phone, your internet service. You can even do things as in maybe a portion or a percentage of your rent or your mortgage can be written off. You're already writing checks out for these things. Why not understand how to make yourself into your own home-based business so that you can get a portion of that coming back to you? Okay, because now you're able to be taxed at 18 to 23%. That income coming from business is taxed less. So now you got even more Uncle Sam out of the way. Because now Uncle Sam says, hey, since you have declared that, we see that you are informed. So you're able to now business can work, business spends, and then the business taxed on what's left. See, you are spending right now on what's left. But when you create your business, then you're able to spend accordingly, right? On what you need to do, reducing your debt, reducing your taxes, and then you're taxed on what's left over. That make just a little bit more sense, okay? Because think about it. I'm already spending this money for my bills, and I'm saying that a portion, several of these bills are actually home-based business write-offs, tax deductions. Do you understand? If you have, let's say, $20,000, let's say $10,000 worth of write-offs, okay, $10,000 worth of home-based business or lifestyle write-offs because you are now a home-based business and you're in a 30% bracket, then that means that you save $10,000 of write-offs, okay, $10,000 in write-offs, okay. Then you're 30% bracket, so 30% times 10 grand, right? That's that $3,000 that you've actually saved in cash. Because if you have secured $10,000 of tax write-offs, then that means that's money that you don't have to pay taxes on. Right? So the more tax write-offs you have, that means you're saving actual dollars because you don't have to pay. And how can you do that? Simple. You can create yourself a business. It's $35, okay? And then that $35, once you see what's going on, then what you can do is say, hey, 30 days later, if you like what we've instructed you on, Okay, if you like, the strategies, the solutions that you have, if you understand now that you can get back an extra $200 to $800 a month by adjusting your W-4, okay, if that happens, then you can exchange $35 a month for an extra $200 to $500 a month, right? Let's say it's a $500 because a majority of our enrollees, a majority of our associates have somewhere between $250 to about $800 a month once they adjust their W-4. If that's the case, you have, let's say, for instance, $500. Let's say it's $200, okay? At $200 a month coming to you each and every month. Would you give me $35 if I gave you 200 in return? That's all we're saying here. Not another pill, potion, lotion, wrap, or a tea, but write off your lifestyle and have the business of tracking and managing your cash flow so that you can increase your wealth, right? So let's look at our next thing here, okay? Now, the next in 9 months, we want you or less to have investment income or to start be able to create investment income. Why? Again, because investment income is taxed even less, about 15% than the other income. Okay. So as you get your income in, you reduce the things that were taken out of your pocket, then you reinvest the extra money that you have into creating business income and investment income so that then you're solidified going toward the rest of your life, right? You have something to depend on. Okay, so now you can understand like things like capital gains, right? Because we're not out there as brokers or those types of things. This is just education. This is just showing you how to gain your financial education. So then you can talk to the brokers, you can talk to the insurance agents, you can talk to whomever it is that is wanting to help you manage your money, right? Shouldn't you know more about what they're talking about than they do, right? No, I'm not saying more, but you should be able to talk to them in a way that you have the understanding of what they're getting ready to do with your money. Okay. So once you do that, you can understand the dividends, right? You become your best investment. You are the number one asset, yourself. There's nothing in here that we talked about. Hey, you got to learn. You got to come in here and learn how to recruit. You got to come in here and learn how to a sale, right? Where you got to come in here and choose a peel, potion, lotion, wrap, or tea, right? No, we come in here and say, hey, find your money. We're going to show you where your money is. And when we show you where your money is, we're going to show you what's killing your money. And then when we show you what's killing your money, we're going to show you how to make more money with the money that you have, right? What could be better than that? Okay. So let's get back. See, so we showed you the definition of how to overcome those obstacles: inflation, taxes, debt, and big business, so that you can achieve your current lifestyle, your future lifestyle, without the ingoings and outgoings of the economy. Okay, so when you take care of the money that you have, right, you have it in the proper places, then it returns to you. We call it cash, asset, cash, right? You take cash, you create assets. The assets then create for you more cash. Therefore, that is what is paying your expenses. That's what's paying for your current and your future lifestyle. Okay. So I'll leave you with this. If there is not a system or a strategy in place right now, okay, will the solution work efficiently? Okay, so what I'm saying is this: people have gotten loans, the PPP, the CARES Act, and let's go more than that. Something that everybody's probably familiar with, which is the $1,200 stimulus that was given out. Okay, many people are definitely looking for another one. Right? They had the unemployment that was increased, right, to get over different humps. That was all fine and dandy. But was there a solution? Excuse me. Was there a strategy in place? Or was there a system in place when you received your dispensation? Okay, when you received that extra $1,200, was there a strategy in place, or did you do cash, asset, cash, or did you take the cash and just go get some more trash? Okay, and that doesn't produce any more cash. So then it produces frustration. Okay, so what we want to do is just always get to a place that, hey, there's a systematic life, right? If you want to lose weight, you have to burn more calories, eat less calories, right? It's a systematic way of doing it. You have to watch what you eat, right? If you want to be better and accumulate the financial awareness, you have to start with the education, which is your foundation. And then what to do with the finances coming in. So many times they just want to show you how to sell, show you how to do this, that, and the other. But we want to show you how to take your purpose, your passion, and take it to the next level. So you guys appreciate it. Excuse me. Tell you what, 48. Sometimes that acid reflux sometimes catches up with you. That thing ain't no joke. Okay, but the thing is, I'm now able to click this off, and I don't have to go and clock in because I have assets that is going to pay for what I'm getting ready to do. All right, we'll just go to sleep. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you